Feeling?
A little worried.
We're now at section 14.0, a very special recognition, and I leaned over to Dr. Cohn during the one of the agenda items, and I said, "Is it a little worrisome that you have all these family members in the in the audience?" But this is really a time of celebration.
The answer was yes.
And we appreciate you making your way out for what we think is just a very special time and a very important recognition, not only for our district, but for the visionary leadership of one Dr. Gary Cohn. And so we have a number of speakers here tonight, both from family, administrative team, electeds, the nonprofit community, and we just want to thank you in advance for coming out and sharing this very special moment with us. This is truly a team victory, and we're very excited about that.
Do I get to use the timer?
No, you do not.
Checking.
I did share with Gary that he's just going to have to let go and let the evening flow and be comfortable with that. And if the seat becomes a little bit warm, then that's okay. So we're here to celebrate Dr. Gary Cohn, the WASA 2017 Superintendent of the Year. This is a huge, huge role. There are 295 districts in the state of Washington, and for this honor to be bestowed, this is the second time that our district has received this. Dr. Carol Whitehead was also a recipient of this. But we're saving the best for the last this evening. I'm truly pleased and proud to lead tonight's recognition of Dr. Cohn, and want to thank all of you who have come out tonight for this very special recognition. Our district is fortunate to have chosen Dr. Cohn in 2009, and I know the board that chose him is here tonight, and they have some very special comments that they want to share. In his time with us, his visionary leadership and hands-on style have helped us grow as a district and as a system on three things: 100% graduation, the next 20% to standard, and zero achievement gaps. And you see some of those numbers around this boardroom and around our district. He helped build upon our community's deep history to build a new image for our Everett Public Schools, one that looks into the future and what students need to be successful, and that's 21st century skills around collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and many others, communication. But more importantly, those programs and services for students support the quality of the images represented, with quality, compassion, and a true focus on each and every student. Love of community and commitment to its children are central to any school superintendent's role, and we're very fortunate that Dr. Cohn and the other Dr. Cohn, Sue, who's in the audience tonight, displays that commitment, and so we're very happy that you are here. What we have on these slides is just what this award was asking for, and so if we can go to the next slide. These were things that were asked for within. Oh, what happened there? We're talking about a leader in the making, and so we'll let these slides run, and we have a shot of Dr. Cohn being sworn in. This is fantastic. Many of you know that Dr. Cohn is a visionary leader. When he first arrived to our district in 2009, we embarked on a 2-year journey to craft a new strategic plan. Many of you in this room participated in the process of that plan. It involved hundreds, literally, of community members, and the strategic plan built on building focused relationships. That this is a relationship between the schools and the communities and the businesses and a quality of life. I'm often reminded that, if you want to talk about economic development, talk about your public school system, because it really is important for economic development. Again, the process built upon the history of this region and built a foundation for current and future growth and success. The resulting strategic plan is a living and breathing document. It was a 10-year vision that is our true north today. With this framework, our schools continuously improved to meet high performance targets and to help prepare our students to be graduate, career, and college ready. There was also a focus on collaboration. I think many of us know that Dr. Cohn leads by example. He is crucial in developing and piloting the Washington Standards-Based Evaluation Framework and TPEP. He led the development of a new superintendent evaluation system throughout the state and helped guide superintendents and board members to use the framework for their districts. And I can tell you, going to a number of statewide and national conferences, Everett really is a leader in that area. Working with his leadership team, he prioritized professional development around the new teacher evaluation process and created a strategic rollout. Through partnership with our employee groups, we also have Learning Improvement Fridays. This allows staff to participate in professional development and collaborate support around student learning. And we support and collaborate with our community to strengthen these partnerships. Why is that important? Why is collaboration so important? We are fortunate that we enjoy labor peace in this district, and a lot of it has to do with the leadership of Dr. Cohn. The district's 9 different superintendent councils and several parent advisory groups engage stakeholders and work proactively to improve learning for each and every student. The district's comprehensive communications program helps our community understand and support each student's success. Another focus was each student. I love the shot of the beard. You've heard our mantra, 120 and 10, or 120 and 0. Quite simply put, it means that 100% of our students graduate. The next 20% of our students will meet or exceed state standards or federal standards, and there will be a 0% difference in the demography for our students. We made a point of shifting several years ago with many of the previous board members that are represented here tonight from all students to each student before Dr. Cohn became the superintendent. However, it has become under his leadership that each has truly become a rich and deep and powerful and transformational activity. We care about each student and their success within our district. While the results of this focus are evident in countless ways, perhaps the best known evidence is the end result, our continuously improving graduation rate, which has soared over the last 7 years. Our most recent unofficial graduation numbers, and I say unofficial because they have to be made official by OSBI, is 90.9 for our 4-year graduation rate and 94.7 for our 5-year graduation rate. And we have the highest English language learner graduation rate in the state. That's 295 districts. That's a big deal, folks. One of the steps in the superintendent evaluation process is really to be a change maker. And this is one of the things that we have really respected about the work of Dr. Gary Cohn. This year marks 125 years of Everett Public Schools. There's not a lot of institutions within our community that can say that. Dr. Cohn has helped us as a community and district build upon that history and rich legacy to take the next level so that each of our community's children have a pathway to learning and success. Dr. Cohn, the first Washington State's 2017 Superintendent of the Year, is the first to emphasize that this is not an award about an individual accomplishment. Yes, it's a big deal, and we want to recognize Gary for this leadership and vision, and it's a huge affirmation for every administrator, every staff member, and all the school teams who work their magic every day within our district to make this a reality. So congratulations to Dr. Gary Cohn, the 2017 Superintendent of the Year. We're so very proud, and we have a number of letters and speakers, but I ask that you join me in celebrating Dr. Cohn and his work. Congratulations. Doesn't get to say anything yet. We have a number of people that would like to say some words. And the first one is from someone that you know very close, who's a very good friend of our district, that I can tell you that when we had our day on the Hill, He said, Everett Public Schools. How does every district get to 90% graduation rates or greater? And that's from our governor, Governor Jay Inslee. Dear Gary, he writes, I am pleased to join with your colleagues, students, and many friends in congratulating you on being recognized as the Washington Association of School Administrators 2017 Superintendent of the Year. Under your leadership, Everett Public Schools is a high-performing district that is recognized statewide and nationally for student achievement. Despite increasing poverty and homelessness, Everett students continue to outperform the state on assessments in every subject, in every grade, and in many cases, surpass the state average in double digits. The district's high graduation rates and its distinction for the state's highest English learner graduation rates are just a few of the tributes of your work and guidance as superintendent. You are a champion for the needs of students, family, and staff, and I applaud your leadership on educational policies both inside and beyond the borders of your Everett Public Schools. You have a strong and influential voice in the state and are a torchbearer for public education. Again, congratulations on this well-deserved honor, and please accept my best wishes for your continued success in the years ahead. Very truly yours, Jay Inslee, Governor, State of Washington. We also have some important guests that have signed up and want to share in this very special celebration with us tonight and would like to share a few words with our community. When I call your name, if you could please come to the podium and we will call you forward. I'm not sure if I saw Senator John McCoy step forward or not. Is he here? Well, we know that Representative June Robinson is from the 38th District. Representative Robinson, if we can have you come forward.
Well, good evening. Congratulations, Dr. Cohn. What an honor for you and for our school district and for our community. I am very proud to represent Everett and this school district in the state legislature, and the fact that you are such a leader and the district is such a leader makes my job a lot easier as I talk to my colleagues and work to implement good, sound school policy and financing. It's really makes my job a lot easier when I can talk about the success that we have here in Everett. So thank you to you. Thank you for that. And I will just say that you are an excellent advocate for the school district, for our community, and most importantly for our kids. I always know exactly what you want and where you stand. And again, that just makes my job easier. Thank you very much and congratulations.
June Robinson. Another individual who's been a champion for our district, and certainly when we went out on the 2016 bond and levy committee, he was the first one to sign up as an honorary co-chair, and that's our very own Mayor Ray Stephenson from the city of Everett. Mayor, please come forward.
Well, it's great to be here, and I want to add my congratulations, Dr. Cohn, for a job well done. I also think it's appropriate that you let the public speak 3 minutes, and they said I had 1 minute. But I know all of you know we are very fortunate to have such an incredible, highly respected leader, statewide leader, leading our district. It's no small task to provide oversight and direction to 20,000 students in the district. But I'll tell you, having 2 grandchildren in this district, I feel very honored that you're the superintendent. The other thing that I want to share, and I think Dr. Cohn would be the first to say this, that this work does not happen without an incredible school board, and our citizens have chosen wisely, an incredible staff, and I think most importantly, and I know that you embrace this as well, we have incredible teachers in this district. And on a personal note, I know this from my own experience, without a great life partner like Sue, none of this happens. And not only does your staff have to put up with you, she does as well. So I think really the congratulations go to her every bit as much as you. But again, I'm very proud of you. I know when you first, even before you came to the district, you came to see me. Your passion for the education of our children was evident, but most importantly, you wanted to know about the diversity of this community, and you have every day, every hour embraced all of us, and we appreciate that very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Stephenson. Well, this is kind of fun because we get to bring forward the former school board members who hired Dr. Cohn. And, you know, many of the awards and accolades that our district receives today, we really as a school board stand on the shoulders of the great work that you really set as a vision for this district. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for choosing wisely. We hope we can do the same one day. Well, not too soon, of course. Right? But I'd like to bring forward Sue Cooper, who I believe was on our school board 24 years? That's right. 24 years. Sue, former school board director, come on down.
25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was 25 because I was appointed. This is a real joy to be here to honor Gary and to celebrate this achievement. As Ray has pointed out, we know that it's not the individual, it's the team, and Gary, your leadership has been just exemplary. I was on the board is here, that hired Gary, and really from the first that we met Gary at the first interview, I think we could tell we had a winner. And I remember that day. My memory is that he came in with a notebook, a large notebook, and you could tell this was somebody who was going to be proactive, well prepared, just from the get-go. And that was the case, and I'm sure it still is now. Hearing all that the achievements and being still a very interested community member and you know, involved in the knowledge of what the district is doing, I'm just so pleased and excited. You know, Ray alluded to this, but from the very beginning, you, before you were even had your beginning day, Gary was in the community, learning about the community, connecting with the community. He appreciated all the work that had gone on before in the district with the direction and the outstanding staff and the leadership team. We've appreciated your leadership and just so pleased to be here to thank you and to congratulate you. And in my book, actually, you have been well deserving of Superintendent of the Year for some of the challenges that you and your team have navigated. I went off the board in 2009, but following that, you had some pretty difficult challenges to navigate, you and your team, and it's much appreciated. You've done a wonderful job. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Sue. I would like to call forward Christy Dutton, and Christy is still keeps her flag planted in public education as the executive director for our Everett Public Schools Foundation.
Yes. Well, thank you, and congratulations, Carrie. Wow, what an award, and I told him when he called with the news, it was a long time coming. He did come with a notebook, and I believe the pages of paper were placed in plastic protectors as well in that notebook. So he was able to flip through them quite quickly. But, you know, we, like Sue said, we knew we had a winner when we sat down and talked with you. We also asked him, or told him, that we wanted to work hard. And some of us kind of regretted that as we went along, because, boy, we worked hard. But it was tremendous work, and worked together, and hard we did. Putting my hat on as executive director of the Everett Public Schools Foundation, we couldn't have a better partner in you, helping us target some of those things that we really need to think about. and assembling such a marvelous staff around you to help this district proceed, and to work with those who want to also help raise the bar for achievement in Everett Public Schools. So on behalf of our board of directors, thank you so much and congratulations, and carry on. All right.
I'd like to call forward Karen Madsen. She's been a wonderful champion for our district.
Well, what a pleasure this is. I used to be able to come before an august group like this every other week and tell you all how proud I was of the work that you did, how impressed I was, how brilliant I thought you were, how incredible the focus of attention on each and every child made such a difference for kids. I don't get to do that anymore, and it's really a pleasure to be able to do that as part of this celebration. My awe has not decreased. Your numbers have gone nowhere but up. But what's most impressive is to think about each of the kids who has graduated, each of the kids who has come back when she thought she successfully dropped out. But no, she came back. Each of the kids for whom your work, and the work of all the people not in the room tonight has made such a difference. I was at a meeting, I shared a meeting with Dana Riley Black not too long ago, and they were talking, it was a science advisory committee, and they were talking about how to get groups of kids, young women or kids of color, involved in science. And I sat on my hands and my tongue for as long as I could, and finally I said, you know, in Everett, which you've probably heard about, the focus isn't on getting groups of kids somewhere, the focus is on getting each student. And then Dana chimed in, and she's relatively new to the district, and she said, you know, they meet periodically and they talk about every single student one at a time and about what they're going to do to get to graduation. It's really quite remarkable, she said. And then somebody leaned over and said to me, you know, when you talk about each child, it makes me think of my niece. It doesn't make me think of girls, it makes me think of my niece. I said, right? Right? That's how that works. So Gary was just right. He said in his remarks in his speech, it's a privilege to serve as superintendent of Everett Public Schools and to work with so many truly remarkable professionals committed to ensuring each student graduates career and college ready. And I thought how self-effacing that is of him. But I also thought how true it is, because the rewards that we earn generally aren't all about us. The rewards that we earn generally are because we've had support at home, we've had support as a child, we have support from the people around us. We have people around us who will tell us the truth, who will sometimes flatter us but sometimes not, who will listen to us and learn from us and be taught by us, who will tell us when we're right and who will tell us when we're wrong, and then maybe change their mind and decide that we really weren't wrong after all, which has happened on more than one occasion. And so this award really is, as many of you have said, many who spoke before me, it's really about the whole district, and so congratulations to the whole district. But that having been said, there's something special about having the right person in the right place at the right time. And as my colleagues have mentioned, Gary was an exhausting interview. I think there was a notebook. I'm pretty sure there were plastic protectors, and I think there were tab dividers, too. Yeah, there you go. It was exhausting. In fact, I was sort of glad Sue was with him on one of those occasions, because we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked, and then we were pretty much done talking, but Gary wasn't. And so we talked some more and we talked some more and we talked some more, and then we stood up and we moved to the door and we talked some more and we talked some more, and finally Sue said, "Dear, I think it's time for us to leave." Okay, but then I want to tell them one thing about he was exhausting, and I can imagine, and I remember saying to the people that he was going to be working with, he's going to be exhausting. He's got so much energy. So I was right, wasn't I? Yeah, see how diplomatic they're being. He's got so much energy. But oh my gosh, the right person in the right place at the right time. I'm a chemist by training, and one of the things that I was always fascinated by in chemistry, probably mostly because I didn't understand it, was the whole concept of catalysts. In a chemical reaction, sometimes it can happen in a way different way because something else is present. So for example, in our body, the food we eat burns. It oxidizes just like fire burns in the air, but obviously at a much lower temperature, much slower rate. But the process is exactly the same. But for the presence of that catalyst, it would burn us up. The catalyst allows things to happen that couldn't happen otherwise. And I think that's what Gary has done. I think all the ingredients are here, but I think he has allowed things to happen faster, with fewer resources, more efficiently, and much sooner. That's made a huge difference for lots of kids. And so congratulations, my catalytic friend.
Good luck following that, Mr. Peterson. I'd like to call forward Ed Peterson. And I have to tell you, as Ed's approaching, as a current school board president, you have all these former board presidents that are in the room, and you just feel like, God, you hope you get it right. So.
Oh, it is such a delight to be back and to visit. I got to attend, I think, one board meeting in this room. There were 30 meetings that led up to the hiring of a superintendent in 2009. Because there were issues, and the community was very concerned. And there were a number of challenges that were facing us, and they included things like the growing diversity in the community and the need for a good communication plan and an embrace of that diversity. There was a concern about getting us out of the courts. We were spending too much of the precious dollar for education dollar in legal matters. And there was a recognition that we were educating kids for a world that was different than we experienced in our own education. And how would we equip ourselves with somebody that could lead us strategically? And I am a lover of strategic planning, and we've done this through my nonprofit work for many years, and I was absolutely delighted to bring on an expert, someone that had passion for strategic planning, understood it, had studied it, had written a thesis on it, and I think we see the benefit of that today with the results that we're achieving because we have been strategic. Led by a catalytic strategic thinker. The embrace of our community is something that this superintendent does better than anybody else. I attend a lot of community meetings and always have in my work, and I cannot match this man. He is out at all kinds of events, connecting with people, and his passion for the education of our children in this community leads every conversation he starts. And it's just fun to watch it because he's elevating the conversation to a level that we can access best practices and collaborations and resource development and generate the results in our schools that we all want. But I think more than anything, the item that I point to with Dr. Cohn is his work ethic. It would not be unusual for me to be getting messages at midnight as he's mulling over and thinking strategically about what's coming up next and positioning us for those moves. I remember school board meetings that started at 4:30 a.m. and ended around midnight.
We got rid of those, Ed. We got rid of those, but yes.
Well, I tried for 2 years as president, and I didn't get very far. There were both the issues involved, but also the commitment to detail and getting it right and working it through and getting to the conclusions. And the ability to sustain the passion and implement it at all hours of the day and night is a hallmark. And we after 30 meetings, the 5 of us that were there and went through that process are convinced that we made the very best possible choice. And it's witnessed today with a long overdue and much deserved recognition as Superintendent of the Year in the state of Washington. Congratulations, Gary. We're proud of you and pleased with the results that you have brought to our community.
fifth member of that team who was a part of those 30 meetings was none other than our former school board director and former board president, Jeff Russell. Jeff, please come forward.
Debbie promised me I had 20 minutes to get this up. I served on the board for 40 years with Gary from 2009 to 2013. They felt like 40 years at times. Those were difficult years, hard years for the board and also for the superintendent. They were hard years financially as we moved through the Great Recession. In terms of governance, they were war years as well. But one of many things that I admired about you, Gary, is during that time, you brought to us focus and energy, enthusiasm, and a sense of joy to this work in the midst of that difficulty. And I'd want to echo all that's been said so far, and the lifting up the strategic plan and the power of the superintendent evaluation process, so that becomes not an afterthought of the year, but really the focal point for the board's interaction with the superintendent. It's a great gift to this board. But there's one thing I'd really like to focus on, and not everybody got to see it. I thought I had a unique perspective because of what the board was dealing with at the time. And we would see it when students were prepared for the legislative conference every year, and you see that as well. But saw it especially as we developed a policy for bringing student representatives onto the board, and got to watch firsthand Dr. Cohn's interaction with high school student body leadership then, and also at those legislative conferences and at other times through the year, and really saw someone who cared deeply for students. I mean, certainly for the conglomerate of marvelous numbers, but cares deeply and loves each of those students individually, and has a great gift of being able to be present with them and to draw out conversation with them and to help them grow into the kind of people that they deserve to be. And I really admire that about you. And after 3 years of therapy coming off the board, I realized that's probably why we got along so well, is because you can relate to adolescents, But when it comes down to it, I mean, that's what really matters. I mean, this work, as you know, it's not about the teachers, it's not about the principals, it's not about the leadership team, it's not about the board, and it's not about the superintendent. And the superintendent who knows that and lives that and does that day in and day out really does deserve to be Superintendent of the Year. Thank you for being here in Everett.
Thank you. We often have we've had conversations to say that when a board hires a superintendent, it's one of the most important hires of a community. It is one of the most significant hires the community has. We don't have that conversation often. I don't want you to be thinking that, but I want to thank Jeff and Ed and Karen and Christy and Sue. You got it right. You got it right. And you never know when that decision is going to pay off. And it has paid off. And when you see our graduation rates and the success that we enjoy today, we're able to have that because the five of you got it right. So congratulations on all that you did in that process. Thank you so much. We've searched back a ways, and we have a former Port Angeles school board member. That was one of Gary's stops along the way, in Jeff Hines and his wife, Debbie. Are they here? Okay. I know they wanted to be here tonight to celebrate with you. We also are really fortunate. One of the names that I certainly have heard over the years, but I don't know that I've met this individual, is the former Everett Public Schools interim superintendent and a mentor of Gary's, Paul Shenison. And Paul, we're excited to have you here tonight and say a few words.
Well, first of all, Gary, I'll say that you don't have to worry about the 3 minutes, because those people who know me know I've never spoken for 3 minutes on anything, because I believe in short English declarative sentences. Thank you for having Sue here. She hired me as superintendent too. So that's a long span of time. I first met Gary when I was teaching school finance, and he was a student. And he was an outstanding student in school finance. Now, most students who take that class worry about the formulas and how they work and all that. But in Gary, I saw a person who thought about what to do with the money for the students. How do you use efficiently and effectively the funding you have? And so from that time on, I encouraged him to get into the business he's in, because he worked at that time in the skill center, vocational center in Lake Washington. And I wanted him in public schools where he could make a big impact. And I think I was right. I think it worked. And I'm very proud to say I know you. And I'm very proud to say I worked with you. And I probably worked with him longer than any of you over a long span of time. And interestingly enough, he still calls me at 10 o'clock at night with a question. So thank you for your work, and thank you for taking over this district that I was proud to work in for years. And thank you for the achievement of the kids that you've supervised. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
We call public education, it begins before the K, and it goes way beyond the 12, and we're really fortunate to have Dr. Paul Petrie from Washington State University, North Puget Sound, come forward and say a few words. Thank you, Paul.
Board members, Superintendent Cohn, thank you so much for having me here and allowing me to say a couple of words. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to you, Dr. Cohn, on your excellent work. This award is so well deserved. You've done excellent work in this community, Everett Public Schools, and the state of Washington. I don't think I have a whole lot to add to all the great stories and experiences that your friends and colleagues have shared tonight. But I would like to say a couple of things. First and foremost, I'd like to say, Gary, that you remind me so much of my supervisor, mentor, and friend, our late Dr. Elson Floyd, in that you're extremely thoughtful, strategic, and passionate about education, and we have all benefited from that. I'd also like to say that you have a laser focus on student success, and that is so important, again, to the success of Everett Public Schools in the state of Washington. And finally, you hold us high, all of us, to high standards, and that's something that's extremely important, and keep doing that, keep holding us to that high standard. And with that, I'd just like to say congratulations. I really value our partnership and our friendship, and look forward to many more years of success. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Chancellor, who will be winning the Apple Cup this Friday? Many of you have heard about Gary's involvement in the community, and we have representatives from the nonprofit community. Dennis Smith is sick tonight, so he was unable to attend, but Toroya Miller is here, and she'd like to say a few words.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. I'm sure when I walked in the door, Gary was looking a little surprised, and he did get an email regarding this, but I'm sure those comments of, I'm not sure what someone was going to say, I came to mind when I walked in the door. So Without further ado, my name is Terea Miller, and I do work at Coastal Community Bank, but I am also the past chair of the board of United Way of Snohomish County, and it's in that capacity that I am here, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Dennis Smith, and he has given me some words, so you can rest assured you're okay. So, because the other thing that it is when you give me a mic, you never know what's going to come out. So, under Dr. Cohen's visionary leadership, students throughout the district are being prepared for successful careers in the future, while also helping to contribute to the health of our local community and economy. He is known as an excellent communicator and can explain complex educational concepts in a way that brings both understanding and agreement. Dennis also shares as the board chair of our United Way. He has been a critical ally in our strategic planning efforts, the creation of an innovative and forward-looking United Way, and the hiring and training of a highly professional collaborative staff in order to successfully deliver our core programs. He finally says, Dennis finally says, as one of our most important community leaders, Dr. Cohn was invited to be a charter member of the Snohomish County Health Leadership Coalition. This program has generated much interest and accolades, including having our governor come to the Everett School District to learn more about the programs and participate in a pick-up basketball game with some of the students. I can't leave this mic without sharing my personal thoughts about Dr. Cohn. And I've been blessed to work with him in the last couple of years on the board, and he's been quite the inspiration. And I, too, have been a recipient of the calls, not at 10 o'clock at night, but a recipient, nevertheless. And there has been times when I've gotten off the phone with Gary and said, did I really help him? Did I answer the question he needs? And without fail, I've always felt rest assured, because regardless if I helped or I said anything that was any remotely intelligent, he always made me feel like I did help. And that is a gift, and a gift that we have because you're a compassionate leader. And I thank you and welcome and appreciate your insight and what you have done here at the school district. And I, too, congratulate you on being the recipient of the 2017 Superintendent of the Year Award. Thank you.
Thanks, Trey.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing those words, as well as Dr. Dennis Smith. Our final speaker for this evening is someone I know very well. He has an over 35-year career with the YMCA, and he has served as our president and CEO for the last 8 years. Mr. Scott Washburn.
Thank you, Ted. It's nice to see you in this forum. So impressive. So I'm going to include that in your performance review coming up in a couple of months. So nice presentation skills, can lead a group. So well done. So, anyway, congratulations, Gary. I'm really pleased to be here to represent the community. I didn't realize you had a day job. I thought you spent all your time in the community. And so we won't talk too much about that, and I'm only being a bit facetious because, as somebody else mentioned, Gary is very prominently visible in this community, and not just present, but contributing in leadership roles. Presently, he's chairing two of the most significant not-for-profit organizations in this county. One we just heard from, United Way, and the other one that I represent, which is the YMCA Snohomish County, which together has something like 200 years of history in this community. And so I really appreciate Gary and his ability to take on big leadership roles and to get involved in the community and to demonstrate that commitment. And what's really exciting is to see how they get leveraged. So as I look in this room and I see people that are in my committee meetings, and I come here and it looks like a YMCA committee or a Rotary group with Sally and Peter and Jeff and Mike and Mary in the back and my friend Kelly here, and it goes on and on. I think that's a testament to not only your leadership, but how you leverage, how you multiply, how you catalyze your work and put it in the hearts and minds of the people in this room that work for this district, and proudly so can take great credit for the work that's been done here. And so congratulations. We see your work every day. We're a partner with you, and that's the other thing I would mention is that I've always felt like a highly respected partner, not somebody that's just simply doing something for the district, but actually working very closely to make sure that we advance both our missions, the mission of the district, the mission of the YMCA, which is really to serve kids and families. So congratulations, well done. And I'm starting to get those 10 p.m. texts. He doesn't call me so much, so I get the text, so I'm starting to feel the Gary influence that, as always, and as others have mentioned, always in a very supportive, appreciative role. What can I do to support your work, the work in this community? And so, again, congratulations, well done. Look forward to next couple of years with you. So,
Thanks,
thank
Scott.
you, Gary.
Thank you, Scott. A number of people in our audience tonight, but if there are those who wanted to say any other words before I turn the microphone over to Miss Dr. Cohn,
Really open
Patrick.
mic.
Patrick Pierce with Economic Alliance.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. It feels like it's one of those days here. I just wanted to make sure, I'm sorry I missed the sign-up sheet here, but make sure that I give my great thanks to Dr. Cohn and his team. As you mentioned, President Wenta, education is one of the key cornerstones to economic development, and really all that Gary has done in this district to really help move forward education, move this district forward. I'm a product of Everett Public Schools. I've got my daughters in kindergarten here, and I couldn't be more proud to have her in this district. And it comes down to when we recruit companies, when we're keeping companies, having a strong community, which is really education is that backbone, and being able to recruit and know that we're confident when we bring them here that they're going to locate their families in a district that is really really first class, and it really goes to Gary, his leadership, and the entire team. And the other thing I'd say that someone else had mentioned, I always know how we can help, and that is a very, very valuable thing. And we do a lot to help the district because Gary and his team are not afraid to ask, and we really appreciate that, and really just want to continue to be a great partner with the district. So thank you all, and congratulations to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Pat.
Janice, what a treat to have you here.
Hi,
Thank you so much for
sign-up
joining
sheet
us.
as well. Anyway, I will be really brief, and I wanted to say thank you for all that you've done in the community and communities of color. I'm working with the NAACP, working with youth development programs that focus on youth of African descent. I think that I was one of those people that got that call when you first got here. It says, let's go to lunch, because you really reached out to the community, across the community, and that's very much appreciated. And it's very much appreciated that you continue to do that and continue to support and continue to partner with many of us in the community. So thank you.
Yes.
I want to read a letter from Dr. Gene Sherritt. He's the Executive Director of Statewide Professional Learning Network. He says, it is an honor to provide a few personal comments recognizing Dr. Gary Cohn as the 2017 Washington State Superintendent of the Year. This prestigious award reflects the highest standards in leadership, competence, and results. There is no question Dr. Cohn represents the pinnacle of excellence in educational leadership. We all know that leadership matters. It matters a great deal in building the capacity of people and organizations. The challenge of effective leadership is to create a system for continuous improvement that has clarity of purpose, a collaborative culture, a focus on learning, and all based on trust. Gary has accomplished this challenge. Under Gary's direction, students in the Everett Public Schools closed the achievement gap in socioeconomic status, ethnicity, special education, or gender. Dr. Cohn led a district effort to intentionally focus on closing all of these achievement gaps and to raise the graduation rate to over 90%. Everett has one of the highest graduation rates in the state and the highest in its demographic range, with over 40% of the students socio and economically challenged. Gary is the consummate professional. He works daily to improve his own performance and practice and has high expectations for his leadership team to grow their skills. He is truly one of the most competent, qualified, and authentic school leaders I have met in my 43 years of school experience. It is richly deserving of this prestigious award. Congratulations to Gary, to the Everett Public Schools, and to the school board for supporting and encouraging this leadership excellence. So that's from me.
Very nice.
Yeah. Before we turn it over to you, we have a little video we'd like to show you.
No, really.
Oh, yeah. that last
That was
picture is all that it's about, right? That's the work. And I think I speak on behalf of the entire school board. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in working with this man. And he is a mentor, he is a friend, and our community is very lucky to have this type of educational leadership, not only for our district, but for our cities and for this region. The best days are still ahead. And it is, when we were celebrating this and we shared this last Friday evening, many of us were sitting around and we were talking about how these are the good days. But they were forged out of some very difficult times. But it was a school board before us that made some wonderful choices that allowed us to enjoy the success that we do. And so, Dr. Cohn, we celebrate you, we congratulate you, and please join me in celebrating our 2017 Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Gary Cohn.
I have to tell you, it's the first time I've ever been likened to an auto part catalytic converter, I think. Okay, thanks. And I also have to tell you that Paul Shenison really does speak in very short declarative sentences. After Sue Cooper called and asked if I would join the search that Everett was conducting at the time, she said that Paul had recommended me, so I immediately called Paul. And did he answer the phone with hello? No. He answered the phone with, I know why you're calling. And I said, okay. And I think I said something to the effect of, how many people did you recommend for this? And he said, just one. And I said, well, how do you know that I can do it? And he said, because I trained you and you will not fail. So thank you all for coming this evening. This is it's really very difficult to put into words how it feels to experience this. You know, when Joyce and Molly and Peter and Mary, I think, hauled me into an office and said, "Okay, we're gonna submit a Superintendent of the Year application, award application, and we don't want any guff from you. We just want you to do the parts we need you to do." I said to myself, "Okay, fine." And really had no idea that this experience would be the result of that. I really do. I suspect that each one of you knows that an award like this is less about the individual and more about the teams, you know, more about the exceptional people that we work with, the professionals in an endeavor like this one. This team, I think I wrote today to all the staff, simply stated is incredible. This is a remarkable place to work. This is an incredible board of directors that's sitting in front of you. It's a truly exceptional district leadership team. The principal core in this organization is so outstanding. Sometimes I just kind of get a little teary just watching them work and being with them. We have an outstanding teacher corps. They lead the state in every imaginable way, and we have a support team in the district that contributes to an operation that's just consistently outstanding. They deliver day after day after day. In fact, I think we just had some of our bus mechanics recognized because they achieved a level of recognition that almost no one else has in the United States, which I think is pretty remarkable. I'm delighted that our former school board members are here. I thank you for being here. It was certainly an honor being in the process of being selected. And no, there were no page protectors in that notebook. But there was a lot of research and there was a lot of homework because you don't make a decision like this lightly. And you don't sit before a board of the 12th largest school district in the state and come to it unprepared. And I think preparedness is pretty important. This group of people, that group of people, they're very courageous leaders. They're parents, they're community-minded folks, they're student-focused leaders. And in the 7.5 years that I've been here, they've never wavered from the notion, the importance of each student's success. So I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank all of you because we can't do the work that we do here without the quality and character of leadership that's sitting around this table and has been sitting around this table for actually many decades in Everett. This board is a board that any superintendent in the state would love to work for, truly work with, because that's how the board superintendent team works. I want to thank you, Paul, because you, I think, more than almost anybody else said it's time for you to get into this line of work. Start now. And I did. And I want to recognize Dave Steele, who's sitting in the room with us this evening, who I've known actually a little bit longer than Paul, because I started on the VOC internship, I think the day I stepped out of the classroom. Dr. Fowler put me in that program, and Dave Steele was retired as superintendent of North Thurston, and has literally been at my elbow, like Paul has, like Mike Boring has, for all of the time I've been doing this work. I've been very fortunate to have some super mentorship, some wonderful leaders. I want to thank as well. I mean, you can't do this work and not thank some of the folks who've influenced you. Dr. Scar, who I served under in Lake Washington, an incredible leader and a remarkable influence. It wouldn't be fair not to recognize Brian Benzel and the late Karen Voorhees, under whom I conducted my internship. And I want to make sure we thank Carol Whitehead, because the work that we do here today is built on the work that Carol and former Associate Superintendent Terry Edwards did when they started the focus on each student and began that graduation rate build. There is so much more about this organization than graduation rates, but that leads the work, and that really is sort of the point for what we do, making sure kids do leave us college and career ready. I want to recognize the people who are sitting at these front tables. Joyce Stewart, our Deputy Superintendent, Peter Scott, our Associate, Larry Fleckenstein, our Assistant Superintendent, Sally Lancaster, Jeff Moore, who manages our finances and operations, along with Mike Gunn, who you heard from tonight. Jeannie Willard, who's been doing an incredible amount of work and is our on-time graduation coordinator. Becky Clifford, who's got special ed, and Debbie Kovacs, who's just the most wonderful HR leader. These are the people who bring all the parts together in the organization. I want to note that we have several, or had, I think they still are, several high school principals in the room with us this evening, and some other leaders. People like Kathy Woods and Lance Balla and Kelly Shepard, who lead schools, very complex organizations. And I'll note that my wife was a high school principal, and reminds me it's the most difficult job in the district. But I want to thank these folks, because you don't achieve what we've achieved without that level of quality and character in your leadership team, the board, the leadership team, the teaching corps. You know, on a personal note, I want to thank my family who's here with me this evening: Dad, Mom, my sister Leslie, my wife, sitting in the front row waiting for me to say something really dumb. I'll try not to. I promise. And I can't thank them enough for putting up with all the late nights and the early mornings and the things that we do to be able to lead organizations and do the kinds of things that we do for kids at this level and for this length of time. You know, many of us are going to sit with family and loved ones at Thanksgiving tables in the next few days. We're going to enjoy ourselves. Some of us are just going to show up at the table and eat. You know, unless we've taken part in stuffing that turkey or slicing the apples and whipping the potatoes, we don't think about what it takes to put something like that together. You know, I watched my wife, I've watched family members, my mom, plan and do this kind of work over time. And when you think about it, it's a metaphor for the work that our department leaders, our support staff, our teachers, our transportation folks do every single day to get thousands and thousands of kids at the right school, on the right bus, at school at the right time. And those kids experience an incredible opportunity in Everett Public Schools. The science and the art of teaching is raised to a very high level here. People like Sue Mills, who've worked with us for many, many years to help us improve. People like Pat Davenport, people like Jeff Utek, who's working with us right now, come in to help us be better in every way we can be better so that kids have a better result. I'll tell you that miracles happen in this district every day. You know, they really do when you think about all those moving parts and all the wonderful experiences have. And one of our speakers that Joyce reminds us to attend to regularly told us that for a lot of kids, school is the very, very best part of their day. The very best part of their day. 40% free and reduced lunch rate means there's a lot of kids in this community, 1,100 kids who are homeless in this community, the largest number of kids in any district in this county. It means a lot of kids don't have what we have, what we had, what we grew up with. What we're trying to be able to give them the tools to provide for themselves and their families. So I think now is as good a time as any to be thankful. To be thankful for the Thanksgiving time that's upon us, for the family, for the friends, for the colleagues, for the unparalleled support of community partners, legislators who take time out of a busy day just after a grueling campaign to be with us, for the mayor to be here with us, for community leaders, for the chancellor of a major university in the United States of America to be with us. Absolutely, I know. I can't say it. For Washington State University, go Cougs, I know. You help us create what we have here, and I don't want for a second you to think that the people in this room are not grateful for your support and the work that you've done with us. I want to thank you, Janice, for being there and for helping us do the work that we do. It's truly an honor to serve this community. As superintendent here, to work with so many remarkable professionals, to be excited about coming here every single day, because I don't think there's a better place to go to work in the state of Washington. I really don't. Nobody else has what we have here. And yes, these are the good times, and we need to remember that, because the legislature is going to meet pretty soon, and that may not always be the case. I want to thank the folks, my colleagues, who recognize the work that we do here and chose to honor me for that work. It is teamwork, and it is important work. And I also, I want to thank you all for not giving up on any single day and always being willing to do a little bit more and a little bit better. That's unusual. I want to thank you very much for the honor. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving. Everybody gets to go home now. I'm going to take Charlie Burgess and his class to lunch, because that was a great video.
Oh, it was
Thank
great.
you very much.
Well, Dr. Cohn, we do have a certificate.
Oh, great.
Of course. I mean, that's what we do at the school district, right? We give out certificates, but we also have a copy of the award. But this certificate of recognition reads, awarded to Dr. Gary Cohn for earning Washington Association of School Administrators 2017 Superintendent of the Year Award, and for continuing your vision, leadership, and advocacy on behalf of staff, students, and families in our Everett Public Schools. So congratulations. We will make sure. And for members of our audience, we invite you to stay for a reception afterwards. We're still in a board meeting right now, but so that brings us to Section 17.0, we are adjourned. This concludes the work of the Everett Public Schools Board of Directors for November 22nd, 2016. We are adjourned. We invite you to stay. Thank you.